Hey guys, Pogasick29 here, and welcome to episode 1 of MagicBattle Coding. Now, I'm sure that many of you are wondering about this new series that has come out of the blue, so let me take a second to explain. In honor of my 500 subscribers, which I reached probably a month or so ago, I started a paintball coding mini-series in which I taught you guys how to create a paintball plugin. The main reason why I did that is because I'd gotten so many requests for, everyone wanted to know how to make a mini game, and I figured I picked paintball and I made the game, and then people could apply the arena and command and listener structure that I had showed them into whatever kind of game that they wanted. Well, after I finished the series, I noticed two interesting things. The first was, I got a lot of comments for people asking how to make, people wanted me to make videos on how to make other mini-games. And so I got a lot of more requests for more mini-games. It was never my intention to make more mini-games. I just wanted to have that one paintball was an example. But the second thing that I noticed was, while the paintball coding series was going on, there was a spike in my channel consumption. I got a lot of subscribers and a lot of views during that time, which means that there were a lot of people interested. I noticed that before that, I was doing okay, then I really spiked while making paintball, then after that it kind of went down a little bit. So I figured that must mean that there was a lot of popularity of my paintball series, so I decided to make another minigame. So, I was trying to think of a good idea for a minigame. I mean, I could go with a standard one, like a Hunger Games theme, or a Capture the Flag theme, or, some other thing that's been done a lot. But then I figured that I wanted to try to think of a minigame that was a little bit more unique. Now, I don't know if there really are any more unique minigames out there, because so many of them have been made that any idea could be called similar or the same as another game, but this is my idea for a game. I was thinking, make a game called MagicBattle, and basically what happens is you can join different arenas, and you are given a random wand, and each wand has a special power. So maybe one of them could, shoot fireballs, which do damage to players. One of them could, poison a player. One of them could freeze a player. Different things with, potion effects and damage and other things like that. So, that was my idea for a game, and I thought it would be pretty cool. I have no doubt that it has been done before, just because, a lot of mini-games, pretty much any idea has been done before. But I decided to make this because I don't play Minecraft, but I think that I personally would find this game to be fun. So that's why I chose it. So, I'm going to be following a very similar structure to the first game. I'm not going to be going exactly line for line, because for those of you that watched the first paintball series, this series is going to have a bunch of similarities, but I'm going to try to show you guys different ways to make the same, to get the same outcome, and you can decide for yourselves which one you prefer. So, let's go ahead and get started with the first. Alright, we're already 4 minutes in. So let's go ahead and get started by making the arena class. And basically, the way that I'm going to go about doing the series is I'm going to assume that you haven't made a minigame before, but if I do make references to, the paintball series or whatever, then, you may want to watch the paintball series first. So, the arena class is just going to be a standard private int ID, private array list player data, import that, and the player data, if you guys watched my other series, basically the player data class is just going to store information like the player's name and the team that they're on, and in this case there will not be any teams, so it'll just contain some information, like the location that they were at, the inventory that they had. Then we can go ahead and make a protected arena int ID. And the reason why I'm making it protected is because there are different visibility modifiers in Java, and basically protected says it can only be accessed by other classes within the same package, and I believe sub-packages. So like if I have MagicBattle and then I have a sub-package like commands, I believe that you can access it in there, but I'm not sure. The reason why you would want to do something like this is, like let's say that you gave an API. Like in this series, we're going to use we're going to use some custom events. So let's say that you were to make an API. Then you wouldn't want people to instantiate the arena class. So by making it protected, it does not allow the arena class to be instantiated outside of the package it's in. So it can only be instantiated in the arena manager class, which is what we want. We can just say this.id equals ID, data equals new array list player data. Okay. Good, and we also need a private location spawn point. And then we are going to say, well, we'll add the, we'll load the spawn point later. But basically the way I'm going to handle this is that there's one spawn point, and the player will be brought into the spawn point, and they will be allowed to walk around. They won't be allowed to do anything before the game starts, but they will be able to walk around. So if they want to, you know, try to find a base before the game begins, if you kept everyone close together, then the game could end pretty quickly. Okay. Now we're going to go ahead and just make our get methods public int get ID, return ID, public, actually I don't think we need one for, I believe that that's all we need. Then we're going to make our public void add player P, public void remove player P. And we also, now let's go ahead and make our player data class. So the player data class will have a private string player name, a private item stack array contents, and another item stack array of armor contents. It will have, go ahead and import that. Sorry, it will have a location, and that's all I can think of for now. So we'll go ahead and make our protected player data player P. This dot player name equals p dot get name. This dot contents equals p dot get inventory dot get contents. This dot armor contents equals p dot get inventory dot get armor contents. This dot location equals p dot get location. Then we are going to go ahead and have our protected player protected string get player name, return player name, protected items stack array. And you know what we're going to do is even easier, because the player data basically stores, you know what, because the player data basically stores the information about a player. So when you instantiate the player data class, you know, it takes all the information. But let's go ahead and have a protected void restore player data for restore player data, and we're going to go ahead and say player P equals bucket dot get server dot get player player name. Now this is assuming that the player is online. We can then go ahead and say p.getInventory.setContents p.getInventory.setArmorContents p.teleport to location, and it's restore player. And I believe that that's all the information we need to store. If we need more, then we can, change that. So now we can go ahead and say for add player, data.put new player data p, and it's not put, it's add. And then we'll handle more things later. And then in remove player, we will say we're gonna need a private void, and we can also, I believe we can make these protected. If not, I will change it. But the ID can be public. So private void get player data for player P, for player data d data if d dot get. And let's go ahead and also make a protected boolean is for player P, and then we will say return player name dot equals ignore case p dot get name. So this will basically check, we give it a player and we check if the player data is, so we just say if d dot is for player P, return D, else return null. So if they don't have one, and this has to be player data. Then we can go ahead and say get player data, and we could say player data P data equals get player data for P, data dot restore player, and then we'll call this D. We will say D and then data dot remove D. So I believe that's all we need for that. Let's go ahead and make quickly an arena manager class. Our private arena manager, private static arena manager instance equals new arena manager, public static arena manager get instance, turn instance. Then we need our private array list arenas equals new array list arena. Okay. Protected void setup arenas, and then later, once we add the configuration, we will set up the arenas. We are then going to have a public arena, and we can make this public because what we're going to do is when we make the plugin, we're going to make it with an API in mind. Because I personally, one of the things that I love to do when I code, I like to make desktop applications and I like to make APIs. For those of you that don't know what an API is, which I'm sure you all do, Bucket is an API. Basically, it gives you an easy way to interface with something. So by building in an API, we can give other plugins access to certain events, like we're going to do custom events, which I made a video on a while ago. Other plugins can, get like instances of the arena class if they want to, check for players in an arena, whatever. So we're going to be doing this with an API in mind. So public arena get arena for int ID for arena A arenas if a dot get ID equals ID return A return null. And finally, a public arena get arena for player P for arena A arenas if a.contains player P, return A, return null, and let's quickly write a public boolean contains player P. Return get player data P is not equal to null. So if it's not equal to null, then yes, we do have the player. If it is null, then we don't have the player. So, okay. That should be good. Now, before I forget, because I remember one of the main problems I made in the other video is I never set up the settings manager, and there were a few problems that I had. There were a lot of bugs that I had. So before I forget, I'm gonna try to be better about finishing everything. If I'm doing arenas, I want to completely finish it. So I want to say arenamanager.getInstance.setUpArenas. Because I want to, because if I don't do that, then that would be a big problem. And, alright, I believe that that's all we need to do. And in fact, I'm going to show you one quick trick. We do have this player data class, which is on its own, but we don't really need to have it on its own. We don't need a separate class just for this. So what you can do is, you can go ahead and cut everything out, go to Arena, and paste it right there. And we can call it a private class player data. No, it is a class player data. Let's see what's wrong with it. Type, okay, and then we just need to delete player data. Okay. This is called an internal class, and basically what we're doing is we have two classes defined inside of Arena. We have the Arena class, and we have the player data class. Since player data is only handled in Arena, that's the only place we need it, we don't need to have a separate class file for it, a separate Java file for it. We can internally store it within the Arena class. So it just helps clean some stuff up. And I just wanted to show you guys that because it's a helpful thing to know with organization and whatever. So that is all for this video. You guys learned, if you didn't already know, how to create an Arena class with, removing and adding players, whatever, with the player data, and creating an Arena Manager class. Subscribe if you want to see more. Comment with what you want to learn. You can comment about a bucket topic you want to learn about, or something that you want me to implement in this plugin. Don't say stuff like commands or listeners or scoreboards or whatever, because I don't know about a scoreboard, but I will do all of that stuff. So later on, in a few videos, once we have more stuff in there, and I make a checklist of things that I need to do, then you can feel free to add to it. But if you have a unique idea, or even an idea for a cool wand that someone could use, that does some kind of a special power, then let me know. And if you liked this video, please click the like button. And I will see you guys very soon. Goodbye.